Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this special edition of Snowman in the Morning. The picture that you see on your screen right now is that of Chris Bass, a frequent guest, the host of our segment, the Boom Shakalaka, and his daughter with him. Unfortunately, we lost him over the weekend due to a stroke. And we got the news yesterday on the air. So what we're going to do today is honor him with some of his best segments over the next 120 minutes. I can tell you from all the folks that I have spoken to, and I can say this unequivocally, with him being my brother for 20 years, that Chris Bass was very well loved. He was very well respected. He told it like it was, and I couldn't be a better man for him for it. So, Bass, this is for you. Let's do it.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up?
Good morning! Snowman here to all you Brock Purdy and San Francisco 49er haters. Shut up! I gotta thank you, Shane.
I mean, whatever happened to the games where breaking 100 points was, I don't know, unusual?
There was one word to sum up the All-Star weekend.
Trays. Cause we take this job so serious.
Splash Brothers, yes. Ray Allen, replace him with Steve Kerr. Reggie Miller, yeah.
What in the all types of blue hell?
And welcome to the first edition of Catching Up. This is where I talk to some folks that I haven't had on the show in a while. And this gentleman I met in 2006. We did a wonderful show together called the Big Sports Show. And since day one, this man has made me do nothing but laugh and enjoy the good times in life. Please welcome radio host extraordinaire, Mr. Chris Bass, and he joins me right now. Good morning, man.
Good morning, man. How you doing? It's so good to hear your voice and be with you.
Oh man, I love you, and thanks for coming on with me this morning, man. I mean from the heart when I say you've done nothing but make me laugh and have good times, especially when we were on the air together.
Well, that means a lot to me. You know, I love you more, and let me just share this with the audience out there. The thing about this gentleman that you hear right now, he is a freak of nature. Now, I don't know about him being a freak in general, none of my business, but from the standpoint of sports is concerned, he knows everything. And I must say this sincerely, that when we did the Big Sports Show back in 2006 on psiradio.com, you were the Big Sports Show. Let me tell you why. Because we're doing a show one time, right? And the man has so much arcane knowledge. You ever seen the movie Rain Man with Dustin Hoffman and Tom Cruise? You'll get my drift. So we talk about baseball. I'm not really versed in baseball, but I'm leaning toward his lead on this one. So he told me about an Atlanta Braves game that happened in 1977 when you still had afros and high water pants.
Yep.
And whoever the guy with that bat hit for, I don't know, 300 or something.
Right.
And Brian could break down how tall the guy was, how much he weighed, what he ate for breakfast, which was 2 tacos. It was 2 tacos, orange juice, and a cup of coffee. What kind of drawers he had on. And I'm like, that's a little bit. I was like, wait, that's a little bit too much information, a little bit minutia there. But the fact that he could pinpoint anything in that moment in time is an uncanny ability. I've always marveled at that. I still do. So, dude, as far as I was concerned, not me. I just happened to bear witness. You were the big sports show.
I tell you what, we were talking football, and this is where he gave me the nickname Rain Man. Besides that, the question that was posed, someone in the back in the back room said, "Has there ever been a quarterback to throw for 400 yards in the Super Bowl?" And the word got to Chris, and Chris spat it out on air. He says, "Has there ever been a 400-yard Super Bowl throwing quarterback?" And immediately my answer was Kurt Warner, because he was the first to do it in Super Bowl 34. And Bass looked at me and said, "There's no way in hell that happened." I said, "Super Bowl 34." And he looked at me again with this look. You know, the look that the teacher gives you when you spat out an answer that you had no business knowing.
Right, exactly. I co-sign with that look, yes.
That was the look that Bass gave me. He said, "I'm going to go home and look this up." I said, "Go ahead. 29 of 45, 414 yards, 2 touchdowns." He said, "There's no way. If you're right about this," and he left it at that and walked out. I said, "All right." I went home, came back the next day. He comes in, and he's got that same look on his face, and I will never forget Bass looking at me and go, "How the hell did you know that about Kurt Warner?" I said, "What?" He said, "The 400-yard game." I watched it, and he's just bust out laughing, and he goes, "Okay, that's fair."
Right. See, people, you have to bear witness to this uncanny ability that Brian has. And because at the time, I didn't know Brian from a can of paint.
Right.
So we were just getting to know each other. So we were doing the show, we're getting to know each other. Really likable guy, but I didn't know who the hell he was, honestly. So, but when he did that, going back to that gig, you have a better memory than I do. When you talked about that, and I went back and checked it, I was like, and I told my wife Vicky, I said, "Wait a minute, this dude is Rain Man." and it stuck from there because, again, the one thing about is certain people who do sports and certain people who are just obviously born to do it. You were born to do this, Doctor, so you've always proven the fact that you're the one in the room that everybody gravitates towards if they want anything about sports. And I just give credit where credit's due. Dude, you're like I said before.
I appreciate it. I really appreciate that. My wife says the same thing because she hung with me for the 2018 football season when I covered Michigan City. There was one game we were playing LaPorte, and I just said out loud, I think Lyric McFerrin, their star running back at the time, is going to go for 200. And my wife just looked at me. She says, "If you're right about this," I said, "I just have a feeling." Yeah, 16 for 225 and 4 touchdowns. And everybody that was in the booth that night was coming over to me because they were hearing me spit out the numbers. My wife was taking the notes, and they just go, "How did you know that number?" I said, I watched it. For some reason, I can calculate this in my head. And my wife makes the joke, "He can't do anything else, but he can do this."
Oh, that's not a good wife.
For me, that's a wonderful wife because I knew she was kidding around.
Yeah, I know you're right. Yeah, the only wives get away with that. The only wives get away with that.
Right.
Wives know what they're doing when they rib you like that. They have carte blanche.
When they know you, know you so well, they can make jokes. But they can make jokes like that. And Jody's been doing that for almost 4 years now.
That's great.
And
that's great.
I love that. And when I worked at Whitney Young as a security guard, and I was also commentating their games. Your daughter, I remember your daughter coming up to me, tapping me on the shoulder, and she goes, "I know you." And I'm going, "The hell did I do now? I just got here." And she goes, "You know my dad." "No, I don't." "Yes, you do. You know someone named Chris Bass?" And I fell out laughing.
That was my youngest daughter, Mattia.
That was Mattia. And she comes up to me and she just smiles and goes, "I told you know my dad." And I'm still on the floor laughing. My boss comes over and says, "Are you okay, sir?" "I'm fine. I'm just in a pool full of tears from laughing at what this young lady just did, and that was Mattia that did that. Chris Bass on the line with me as we are catching up. This is the premiere episode. We had so much fun together doing the Big Sports Show, and normally we were told by the man in charge that we should have a script of things that we're going to talk about. You know the best part? We never did.
Well, and you know this firsthand, Brian. When you work with people and you're developing chemistry, you don't want it to sound scripted because you want to have natural conversation. And
absolutely.
So when you're working with a duo or team, I don't think it bodes well to be scripted because it comes off that way. And when people listen to sports, they want it to be natural. You want it to have the people that are who are the hosts engaging. If you do take calls from a radio perspective or whatever you do, to bring them into the fold. So again, it's the classic theater of the mind, but you have to connect with that one listener who's checking you out, he or she, and they're able to feel that they're a part of the conversation without actually being a part of it. It's something that's so basic. I don't believe in scripting. When I, for example, do my shows, my host, it's 50-50. It's 50% preparation, and other 50% is improvisation.
Yes.
So that's a formula that works for me, and I've always realized that I prep 3 hours before I do any of my programs, and only because of the fact that by the time I hit that mic or hit that time I'm doing the video as well, that I know what I'm talking about. And you don't want that, as you know firsthand as a host yourself, credibility is key.
It is.
Once you lose that, dude, you can forget it. But since you have that, you ride it all the way out, and you've been doing a fantastic job doing
Thank you. Thank you. 8th season of doing Snowman in the Morning. I've added some tentacles to it. Got a radio partner in Cole Johnson out of Tennessee. He's been fantastic. I've had fun with you doing radio. One of our mutual favorite movies is Lean on Me.
Yes.
And one day, for some reason, I was just feeling down in the dumps. And I came in and I knew, okay, I got to pull it together because I'm going to be with my partner.
Right.
I barely sat down and Bass comes in and all of a sudden I hear him spit out, "They used to call me Crazy Joe, but now they call me Buttman." I walked out the studio laughing. I said, "Oh, this is going to be a great time today."
Well, if you're a fan of Morgan Freeman's, like all of us are, and I love the movie because it really showcases talent. But the scene he had with the late great Robert Guillaume, and they're going back and forth, and there's the dynamic of these two personalities, and they're having the diatribe, and they're going back and forth and everything else. I thought it was really brilliant. Film I was watching, and I keep that same scene just in case I, like you, get down the dust, and I'll watch that scene or parts of that movie. Like there's one scene that he has as Joe Clark where when he says that scene about they used to call me Crazy Joe, now they call me Batman, and he says it to the fire chief.
Yes.
And so Miss Leviathan, who played with the lady who was his vice principal, is like, "Mr. Clark, why is it to the police, to the fire chief?" You know what he's saying right now? Black bastard can't throw me out. You know where he's saying it? Out in the parking lot. and just the fact that he delivered these, like, once he's an actor, he hits his mark.
Yes.
And one scene I like a lot when he gets arrested, and he's about to be arrested. They're taking him out. They got the handcuffs on him. So Sam was the troubled, teenager you let back into the school.
Yeah.
He was like, "What's that you do, Mr. Clark?" It was like, no, Lynn Thigpen played the parent who got him arrested.
Yep.
"We're going to blow your black butt out of here." "Hey, B, vote on this. Sam, get back to your class." Now, he did not say, "Why did you call her a B?" He just said, "Get back to your class." So in other words, I'm agreeing with you on the B part, but get back to your class.
Exactly right. It's one of those movies where you see a little bit of everything.
Yes.
And the one story we had where the remake of the Batman line, the Utah Jazz had cheerleaders that also were acting as pole dancers. And that's when you remade, they used to call me Crazy Joe, when you did that on the air and you looked at me for a response, I was already gone. I was just about under the table laughing
I remember.
because I remember where you got that from, and Chris just calmly goes, "Have you any response, sir?" And I couldn't respond. I was laughing so hard my stomach hurt. And I was, like I said, I was under the table just dying laughing.
Oh wait.
We had people like emailing us because we had people emailing us, and one particular emailer said, "Y'all just dumb."
Oh yeah, absolutely.
After that day, and they were just wondering, okay, what are these two going to come up with this time? Our boss was so afraid that we were just going to do something just so totally outlandish that people would be banging down the door. When you did that crazy Joe line, I thought he'd have a heart attack.
Well, but as you know, Brian, you have to have spontaneity and off the cuff behavior patterns, because it goes back to what I said earlier in the conversation about you don't want to be too scripted. And
Right.
so when you're able to go off the dome like that, as long as, look, my theory's been this: if you don't try it, there's nothing beats a failure but a try.
Right.
So at least try it to see what works, what doesn't work. Everybody is trying to create something, and you're in the lab, and you have plus and minuses, and you keep on doing it until you get the formula. And when you got the formula, it's the recipe for what you want to do. So that takes time. And the thing about it with certain people nowadays, I don't know if you have time, depending on who you are, or if you work for a corporate or whatever your situation is. Do they give you no time, or do they want you to hit the ground running as soon as you hit the mic? So I don't know. I think that if you take time to invest in a person, then it will pan out if you see what they can contribute. Like I remember reading an article about the late, great Johnny Carson on the Tonight Show.
Yeah.
His first few months, he was getting ready to quit. He was nervous. He couldn't get it together. And some people say, they tried to give him to go to Las Vegas or somewhere to relax, take a little time off and come back. I want to say probably the 6th or 7th month, he found his stride, going on into a year. So I miss the fact that certain people, certain corporations in radio in particular, don't let the talent develop. Right. And I think that's you handcuffing somebody. I don't think that's right.
Yeah, it is. It's not right. It's not right. That's why I did. That's why I started Snowman in the Morning on my own, because when I was at Chicago State, it just felt like more and more I kept getting handcuffed. And even though I had a 2-hour show, I had too many people on the air with me. And I was the one that was supposed to put the show together. And I learned most of this on the dead fly. So there was there was still a lot for me to learn when I did that sports show at Chicago State for 9 years. But when I started Snowman in the Morning in 2013, it didn't take long to get my particular formula, but had to, like you said, you're in the lab and you've got to tweak it. You've got to continue to tweak it and make sure that it's as close to perfect as possible. And I'll leave the folks with this. Remember, there are two things. One, the Christmas party episode.
Oh,
when you had the Salt Bastard holiday party.
Yes, that was the first one. Yes.
That was
I remember it well.
The Salt Bastard holiday party. The word started circulating with everybody. This is going to happen. And everybody was happy about it. I know I certainly was. But when it became official, I just started laughing and walking out toward my car going, oh no, this is going to be legendary. And when you told the story about the Salt Bastard, I added something and gave him a voice. I gave the Salt Bastard a voice because I left you a voicemail about it, and it's been off the chain ever since.
I've always been in the mindset that, and for the people who know, I do this holiday show around Christmas time called the Chris-based Salt Bastard Holiday Party. So when I was a mere youth, when I used to shovel snow here in Chicago, winter cold, You can chatter so hard you hear your ancestors inside your head.
Yes.
It's just that cold.
Mhm.
So I'm shoveling snow, and I'm about maybe I say between 8 and 10 years old. And so I shovel up. So the cold hits my nether regions. I gotta use the bathroom. So I had to excuse myself. Everything is cleared off.
Yep.
Only thing missing was putting the rock salt down so nobody would slip and fall from the ice melting.
Mhm.
So I go to the bathroom, come back out. Somebody steals my gallon pail of rock salt. So to me, I don't condone people who are thieves or thievery.
Right.
But for Buddha's sake, please don't steal rock salt. Don't steal anything small, but don't steal rock salt.
Right.
It is the most stupidest thing you can ever do as a thief.
And what'd you say that afternoon? you came back and like, what the salt bastard? Who the hell took my
Right.
salt?
Right, salt bastard. So I never saw the perpetrator who did it.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they busted their kneecap, to be completely honest with you. But I'm telling you, it made no sense to me at 10 years old for someone to steal rock salt. And I named the person, whoever they were, the salt bastard. And that's how that started.
And the rest, as they say, is history.
That's right. Oh, can I ask you a question real quick?
Go ahead.
Okay, as a broadcaster of sports, obviously, what's your take on ESPN's Screaming A. Smith? I call him Screaming A. Smith.
We don't have time for my full take, but
oh man,
listen.
Well,
I
give me
have
the short
to. I'm
version.
going to invite you back so we can really delve into that. Okay.
I would love to.
I'll give you a 60-second take on Screaming A. Smith. First of all, the name is accurate. Second of all, I don't like his journalism, but I don't fault his work ethic.
Right.
And third of all, and I've made this very, very clear on the show, he's being fed dirty money.
Ooh, yeah. Please invite me back. So I would love to get your take on that.
He's being fed dirty money. We're gonna do this, and the next time I have you on, this is the subject we're gonna talk about. He's being fed a lot of dirty money. And why do I
like
say
that.
he's being fed a lot of dirty money? What's the network involved?
ESPN,
he had a radio show on that network 3 separate times, and
He
all
sucked
3
at radio.
times, yes, and all 3 times they yanked it from him.
They sure did.
They yanked it from him, and
Because he can't do radio.
right, he can't. He's better with television, but they're stretching him too thin. I'll leave it there because
Like
there's
that.
a lot more for us to dive into when it comes to Screaming A. Chris
I
Bass
cannot wait.
Chris Bass joined me this morning for our first episode of Catching Up. Everything you see will be on the Snowman in the Morning YouTube channel. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you haven't already, check out Baseline, 5 p.m. Eastern on Fridays, 4 p.m. Central Time from my hometown of Chicago. Thank you, Chris. I love you, and I can't wait to have you back.
Thank you, brother, for having me on here. I love you more. Can't wait to return.
And now, the transporter to Hades, the reformer of hooker whores, and the bronze god, the one, the only, the legendary Chris Bay.
You know him, you love him. The Bronze God is here, Mr. Chris Bass. How are you, my friend? Great to have you as always.
Oh, well, first of all, good morning to you. Good afternoon to everybody out there. Of course, he is the Rain Man. He doesn't perform tricks, but he has the prostitutions when it comes to sports. And that's how he operates. The damn thing you could do about it. It's too late. And so it just is what it is. I want to thank you always, my brother, for having me on. All the brothers and sisters out there in the comment section doing your thing. And good morning or afternoon, boom shakalaka to you.
I love that greeting. All right. Let it loose. What you got for us?
Russell Wilson to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know.
I knew you'd get wind of that.
I don't know, and I don't like knowing sometimes. And no matter how old you
Right.
get, you can always learn from people's lessons, or even, of course, your own lessons. And
Yep.
I don't think that, again, going back to his days in Seattle, when your coach and Megatron and everybody on your team is telling you that you're this, that, and the third, they got to go through a restricted number at times to contact or a second party to get to your quarterback, or sometimes third or fourth. Everybody can't be lying.
Right.
And I think his days are past him. I really believe that. I mean, I think the situation that happened in Denver, he got the payoff, but he also got the kick out. And he kicked his ass out to where he is now in Pittsburgh. And I think that I revere Pittsburgh's coach. I love what he does. I love what he continues to do, Mike Tomlin. And I don't think he's a person of no nonsense.
Right.
And there had to be conversations to say Russell Wilson Inc. is not a part of what possibly could be a marriage between him and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And maybe, just maybe, Russell realizes that you can look. It's not like you can't juggle these acts. You can. But I think when one begots the other, but I think when you put one more in front of the other, then that becomes a problem. I mean, how many cars do you have? Like, it's you and like 8 other parking spaces there. You was back in Denver or Seattle. I mean, how many cars do you have, dude? I mean, and don't be wrong.
Right.
It's one of those things where if you let that ego, which we all obviously have, get in front of you, it could destroy you. So, yes, he gets the $1 million a year at the bare minimum for a quarterback. Denver's going to eat the rest of the contract just to get his ass out. But I don't see it. I don't see anything happening with his time in Pittsburgh, and it could just be the end.
I think it is the end for Russell Wilson. And the end for me, as far as Russell Wilson goes, started when he didn't give the ball to Marshawn Lynch on the 1-yard line in the Super Bowl. They never recovered. He never recovered. The Seahawks never recovered from that. They haven't been back to the Super Bowl, nor has Russell Wilson. And Pete Carroll ran the daylights out of him the latter part that he was there. And they didn't equip him with an offensive line. They didn't equip him with a bell cow running back like they had with Marshawn Lynch. And they tried to revive beast mode. And it worked for a little bit. It worked for a little bit, but it came down to the game against San Francisco where they were a half a yard away from winning the West Division and they couldn't get it. That the Super Bowl 49 was the beginning of the end. When they couldn't claim the West in 2019, in my opinion, that slammed the door.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Beast, but I'm not good with nicknames. I didn't know my own nickname from half the time. But,
it's all right. It's all
all
right.
right. No, go back to Marshawn Lynch. I'll just stick to government names. I'll put it like that.
Yes.
The process of when you're defining your career have finite moments. And like you said before, what if he would have handed him the ball? Would he have left Seattle? Would he have stayed there and had a glorious career going to the Super Bowl or Super Bowls, depending on if everybody was brought back together again, to bring the band back? So we don't know. One of those finite moments that really could change the course of somebody's history.
Yeah. And we see it all the time in the world of sports. We see it in life. One finite moment, like you said, changes the course of history. A finite moment I love bringing up, May 7th of 89, Jordan shot over Craig Elo, the shot that changed 2 franchises. So there are moments like that. Oh, man, there are moments like that in sports all the time that defines careers and in many cases defines lives.
You're absolutely right. And it's moments you live for. Those are moments that as fans or people have played on all types of levels, those are moments you live for. Those are moments you practice and be in games for when you're able to, again, put that linchpin. Where were you when you did this? Or when were you when he or she did that? So those are moments that we crave because that is the backbone of sports in general.
It is. It is indeed. And you put it so eloquently, those finite moments that define sports and define lives. I don't see this being more than 1 year for Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh. And you know what the media speak is? He's going to be a veteran presence to Kenny Pickett. He's going to help coach him and get him ready. No, I don't even think he's going to do that. They brought him in because, they needed an extra body in practice, and they needed an insurance policy for Kenny Pickett because Kenny Pickett has shown not to be has shown to be fragile in his first couple of years in the NFL. So they need that backup. But Russell Wilson is not as durable either.
No, and it's cheap. Like I said before, it's cheap. You don't have to worry about paying him that much. And once again, he's an insurance policy. And then not like we haven't seen it before. It's just that the potential, of course, that Russell Wilson had and maybe still has some left in the gas tank. I personally don't see it, but people do show flashes of brilliance every now and again. But we'll see when the season obviously begins and starts up. But I just don't see it. It would have been nice for me as a suffering Bears fan to have seen the Bears do the right thing by Justin Fields. If Justin would have went, for example, to Pittsburgh. When that was hitting, when that room was going on, I was like all for it. I mean, that would have been great because imagine him and Mike Tomlin. It would have been perfect.
Right.
It would have been perfect. But again, all lay plans of mice and men sometimes. So this is what happens, what you get. It would have been nice because, again, I don't know. Again, the Bears. If you're going to keep, and I hope it's not true, but it parallels to this. If you're going to keep Justin Fields and bringing Caleb Williams, I don't know what universe I'm living in. I don't anymore. I maybe I've skewed to the bizarro world and nobody told me. Right. I just don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. If you're trying to get, I guess, a tandem of these young quarterbacks and see who the best man win. No, what you should once again going back to Eberflux. The coach to me of the Bears is just not a good fit. I'm sorry, it just does not fit.
Not.
The only reason why he kept his job was because those last few games was like, all right, Eberflux, if you don't get your ass in gear, you're out on the street. And the last few games started to show some promises. So that is the only reason. But now, once again, you are the guru. I'm just some peon here, just pontificating over crap that's coming out of my asshole when it comes to sports. But you're the guru. Have you ever seen a situation like this where they kept the coach and got a whole new team around the coach?
I've never seen it.
Okay, thank you.
I have never, in the 4+ decades I've watched, studied, and covered football, I've never seen a head coach get kept, but all of his assistants are let go. And that's being nice. I mean, they ran them out of town real quick, and I think they were all excited to get the hell out of there as fast as possible.
To save their careers is what left of them and try to get a job somewhere else. Yes.
So if you're going to fire every other assistant coach, why didn't you bring the hammer down on Eberflux? Why didn't you bring the hammer down, or as I call them, Eberfools? Why didn't you bring the hammer down on him?
Unless he has suggested pictures that we don't know about, he's blackmailing these people. That's the only. Other than that, I don't see why you keeping him. It's like you're not going to fire me. Remember you at the Motel 6? I see that's the only way I can see him keeping a job and getting a raise.
I say the same thing for Nick Sirianni in Philadelphia. I say the same thing for Nick Sirianni because somehow they had a couple of yes men as the offensive defensive coordinator. Of course, the defensive coordinator, Matt Patricia, the second half of the year, and the defense got worse because they got pummeled into the ground in the wild card game. And you keep Sirianni. You keep Sirianni. And the same with Chicago. You keep Eberfools and let everybody else go. I mean, what can change the question? What has Eberflus done? And I agree with you, and I mean this jokingly. There's some blackmail in there somewhere.
somewhere
where they convinced the higher ups to keep him and let everybody else go. There's a poster in there somewhere, and something just is not right with that situation. Not right at all.
There has to be a blackmail picture of human beings and animals together. And I won't say what kind of compromising positions, because they should be our pets, not our lovers. I'm sorry. I apologize about that.
Anybody remember Revenge of the Nerds?
I mean, there's other ways of getting goat milk. And, just
That
make
truly
sure that
is.
the goat is female. Just make sure the goat is female if you must do things like that.
Because if it's not,
well, Rasa Ruck. Rasa Rot Ram Ruck.
Rut roll.
You sure some thick milk? Oh, okay, keep chugging. Keep chugging. You be tugging. Doom, 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 doom.
I'll be tugging.
So, yeah, we be tugging. I mean, holy smokes and baby Jesus. I mean, it's just a lot to go through when you're talking about this type of. You can't make sense out of nonsense. It's just impossible.
You
can try all you want to. You can scratch your head. You can go inside your cranium, but you can't make sense out of nonsense. And this is one of them right here. So whether it's Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh or what's happening in Chicago, which I have no idea whatsoever. And again, I go with the theory that I've skewed into Bizarro World and nobody told me.
I mean,
nobody.
Speaking of nonsense in Chicago,
yes.
One moment, well, we all know the travesty that is Soldier Field. I've been in that bad boy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, first they bought all this land in Arlington Heights, and the hot topic was the Bears are going to move to Arlington Heights.
Right.
Now they want to move south of Soldier Field. Why won't they make up their minds? What the hell is that?
Well, because it's politics and the game is chess, not checkers.
Yes.
And that's the thing about it. When you're talking about a historic place like Soldier Field, but you've outgrown the times. The times have outgrown you. As we talked about this before, the smallest venue in the NFL, and it's hard to compete. The property out at Arlington Heights was fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, to be completely transparent with you, with what they were trying to do, and plus, everybody knows now that Soldier Field does it, but once again, just putting more gas in the seats. So if you were able to create a new stadium there out there in Arlington Heights, look how many, you can, of course, go into stores, go into, of course, concerts and things like that. There's a lot of revenue to be made, which is what these other super places are doing. Yeah. Whether it's Jerry's World out there in Texas or Las Vegas or anywhere else, they become more than just your average place to play. It's become multi-entertainment. So you got to keep up with the times. You got to keep up with your competition. But now they're saying they want to move it south. To me, South's always been the answer.
Yep.
But let's call it what it is real quick. The reason why at the time was because they didn't want to be in a neighborhood with black and brown people. And you hate to go there.
That's it.
You hate to go there, but racism is what it is. So they did not want to move Soldier Field south of the lakefront to where black and brown people reside. And they didn't want to do it. It would be great for the neighborhood. It would change its complexity, more jobs, and everything else. It's not like let a certain people of a certain ilk come in there and try to take over. No, it's not going to happen. The mass security and money going into that, of course, it would never happen. But it's the location. And that's the reason why.
It's like now they want to bring it south of Soldier Field, and you're absolutely right. They didn't want to mix them where black and brown people are. They didn't. That's why they kept it on the lakefront. And that's why the prices are so out of control. And they're going to continue to be out of control. And now the other thing is they want a domed stadium south of Soldier Field so they can host a Super Bowl. What?
It's a little bit too late. Again, the smallest venue, as we say before in this program and others, in the NFL. Second of all, if you've been to Chicago, of course, you've been to Soldier Field and everything else. When you drive by it on Lakeshore Drive, now called the Sabo Drive, I've always called it the mothership. It looked like the mothership
Yeah.
landed in Soldier Field and then it just
It
stayed
did.
there forever.
It did. It did.
I mean, the only thing missing was Parliament, Funkadelic, and George Clinton.
That's it. That's the only thing that was the only thing that was missing, because when the mothership landed at Soldier Field in 2003, well, for one, I really wasn't impressed when they unveiled it. Second, it took the full season, because remember the 02 season, the Bears spent that in Champaign, playing at the University of Illinois.
Right.
And then this thing popped up. And this is after they had a grand departure, after they lost to Philadelphia in a playoff game. They had this grand departure saying goodbye to Soldier Field. And then that popped up. Now, I've been in the new configuration for Soldier Field for high school games and college games. My question remains the same. What the hell happened?
Well, somebody dropped many balls on that one. It's an eyesore. And again, and once again, I love Parliament. I'm a funkadelic person. I'm a funkster before I do anything else. But it looks like the Mothership Connection landing in Soldier Field, which is like, okay, it doesn't fit. It doesn't look right. It looks like it's out of place. The Mothership Connection should have left after it landed, but it stayed.
Yeah.
It doesn't look right at all.
And the city owns Soldier Field. The Bears don't. And that's why the Bears are suffering right now. And you've said a few times on this program, the smallest stadium in the NFL is Soldier Field. It barely holds 61,000 people. Meanwhile, every other stadium holds at least 70. That's why places like US Bank Stadium, Levi's Stadium, Jerry World are getting Super Bowls. Hell, the Superdome is still getting Super Bowls. They're playing the Super Bowl in New Orleans next February. The Superdome, as much damage as it suffered in 2005, they rebuilt that thing, made it stronger. They added more seats. They added more entities. It's one of the oldest stadiums in the NFL, and yet, as time has shown, it's one of the more durable stadiums. And New Orleans still gets Super Bowls because you can play it in the Superdome.
You gotta keep up. If you don't keep up, get left behind.
And
that's
speaking
what's happening
of
with the Bears. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and they're going to continue to get left behind. Speaking of which, DeAndre Swift has signed a deal with the Bears. And Victor and I talked about this earlier in the show. Man, it's good that they finally got a bell cow running back after they stupidly let David Montgomery go. The question is, what is Eberflus going to do with him? Because you saw it in Philadelphia. For those of you saw it in Philadelphia. They didn't use DeAndre Swift properly, even though he had 1,000-yard rushing season. Man, he should have been closer to Christian McCaffrey's 1,400-yard season than what he ended up with. And he should have been used the way he needed to be used. Now he's in Chicago. The Bear fans that I've talked to are modern day Bear fans, and they are getting so excited because they have DeAndre Swift and Justin Fields. But what they don't realize that the problem is the head coach. The head coach is still there. They got a new offensive coordinator and everything. Are they going to use DeAndre Swift the way that they need to use DeAndre Swift? That's the question.
I don't care anymore. I try. Baby Jesus. I try. I mean, God knows I do, but it gets to the point nothing makes sense. Real quick, talk about Bizarro World. I want to get this story because I'm going to read it verbatim because I want to make sure I don't leave anything out. Okay.
All right.
So 3-time NBA Defensive Player of the Year Rudy Gobert has been fined $100,000 after he appeared to make a money gesture towards the officiating during the Minnesota Timberwolves' 113-104 overtime loss to Cleveland on Friday. In an official release on Sunday, the NBA stated that the Timberwolves center had been fined for directing an inappropriate and unprofessional gesture toward a game official and publicly criticizing the officiating. All right. I got that out the way. Okay. Now this is what he did, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Where I come from, I'm other people on planet Earth. Where I come from, there's other fingers and digits to use to offend people. I will not do it because I love your audience.
Yep.
And it's a family show.
Yep.
When it comes to family, I will not. But you know what finger I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, know it well. Oh
All right.
yeah.
Now I can once again Bizarro rule. I can understand that if he used that finger
Right
to the officiating,
mm-hmm.
I won't get upset because it means something. It doesn't mean number one. We know that by now.
It really doesn't.
Else.
Nope.
But you doing this offends
Mm-hmm.
you. How can I mean I get it to a degree. This offends you. First of all, when it comes to the NBA of referees, there's a line in the movie Malcolm X, going back to Denzel Washington playing, of course, the lead role.
Mm-hmm.
And after Brother Johnson was beat up by white cops and sent to the hospital and got medical care, the FOI, the Fruit of Islam, the Security of Islam, Nation of Islam, was standing out in front of the hospital. When Malcolm X comes out, talks to the doctor, talks to the white cop says, let's disperse this mob. Malcolm X does a gesture like this, and the crowd, FOI, Fruit of Islam, disbands. And then he says, it's too much power for one man to have. It's too much power for men and women who are officiating in NBA games to have. They're not God, last I checked. And you can't say anything against them, which makes if they were perfect, then why do we have, going back to remote control?
Mm-hmm.
If they were so perfect, we wouldn't have that device there.
Right.
They're human. I remember Phil Jackson, who played for the Bulls. That time he came to the presser, got his checkbook. All right, let me sign this check right now. I'm about to go in on these referees.
Yep, he did.
It's one, and he did, right? And he signed the check because they were going to find him. He was like, okay, let me get out of the way.
And he knew they were going to find him.
Exactly. So if we come down to this being offensive, then you need to get your act straight. A lot of referees make mistakes. I hate to tell you this, but you make mistakes. And don't get pissy about it when someone calls you out on it.
There have been so many times I've seen players over the years I've watched basketball call out referees, and the referees just turn a blind eye and deaf ear to it. Now you're so sensitive that when someone does this, you slap a fine on them. Okay, let me pose this question: why haven't you done it? Why haven't you slapped a fine on LeBron? Why haven't you slapped a fine on Stephen Curry? They've made that signal. There are plenty of other players who made that signal, but you want to do it to Rudy Gobert? How butthurt are you to slap that fine on Rudy Gobert for making that gesture? It's like Bay said a few moments ago. There's another gesture they can make that would be offensive and that would constitute a fine. But this? It's stupid.
When I was 19 years old, and that was a long time ago, and I was back in college, and I was given the opportunity to go to a radio station to possibly work at 19, to work in the mailroom, and then in 6 months go into programming and go from there.
Yep.
So I'm 19, I'm already nervous, and I'm talking to the guy who I thought the job was a lock, and we're going back and forth talking. We had a good conversation. Snowman, Rayman, Brian, I called him sir. The man got pissed off at me calling him sir. I can't make this stuff up.
Stop it.
No, I called the man sir. And he got mad at me.
And he got mad at you for what?
Because he had to be in his, I'd probably say I'm 19, probably in his early 30s then. To him, he associated the word sir with old.
Oh, goodness.
And then he says to me, damn, I ain't that old. I'm like, wait a minute. I thought, because I'm nervous, I thought I called him Mother Hubbard and by mistake or something like that. But no, I called him sir. And I didn't get the job because of that. I kid you not. Because I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So if he showed me on the radio station, this is Chris. He called me sir. I'm like, dude, you still on sir? Are you kidding me? I didn't call you son of a beeswax. I didn't call you Cy Boob. I didn't call you Mother Hubbard. I didn't call you Momofuku.
Right.
I didn't call you none of those names. But yet, this is why I messed up bad. Had I called him Momofuku, I would have got the job.
Wow.
Since everything's so bizarro world.
It is.
So again, go back to Rudy Gobert. He's doing this. He gets fined $100K. Going back to eons when I was trying to get a job on terrestrial radio for the first time, for me just calling the man sir, that did not give me the job. Had I called him out of his name, I would have got the job. So I can't with this parallel stuff, man. I don't get it.
That's crazy that you called him sir, which I gathered a long time ago as a sign of respect, because I'd said that to my dad. I said that to my dad.
Yeah.
And that sign of respect is offensive?
It was offensive because to him, he equated with it being old, and I didn't get the job because of that.
Wow.
Yep.
Bizarro world indeed.
I'm telling you,
Wow.
I'm not going to walk around here with an S reverse on my chest. I can't do it, doctor.
No. No.
Can't do it.
That's wild that you gave him, well, it's basically a term of endearment amongst men. You calling him sir, a sign of respect, and that's crazy. That's crazy. And you're right. Had you called him out of his name, you would have gotten the job. That's nuts. Wow.
The only thing missing from that situation was him wearing his monogram straitjacket.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that's insane.
Wow. That's crazy.
I can't do no more, Doc. I'm trying to fight a good fight, but I'm telling you, woo!
Listen, many times you and I both wanted to deal out some knuckle sandwiches. All right? Lord knows. With extra mayo. Absolutely. With extra mayo. When PSI covered the Proviso West tournament, and I got the call to do some of the games.
Mm-hmm.
I was told I would do the first 4, then I'd get a break, and then I do the last 2 in the evening session, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wrong. That first day I did 6 consecutive games. I'm worn out. I finally get look, as much as I love calling basketball games, my voice and my body took a beating that first day.
Of course.
First day, first time doing Proviso West, because I was asked by the producer, how do I call a game? And I said, think about the old simulcast era with Jim Durham and Johnny Kerr. That was my main reference.
Mm-hmm.
My voice took a beating that day, and I nearly called off for the rest of the tournament because I was exhausted. Fortunately, they let me go early. They let me go like early afternoon. And when I'm thinking, okay, I can get a break and then I'll come back, I just won't talk.
Right.
He pulled me aside and said, see you tomorrow.
Good.
You want to talk about a black man flying out of Proviso West so fast?
I know, right?
Man, I flew the hell out of there. And that year I was covering Whitney Young. It was 2007. I was covering Whitney Young also. They had a game that night. I said, there's no way I'm going to be able to make it. I am beat and I'm beat up. I went home. That night, an ice storm happened. And all kinds of calls were coming into me. Are you going to make it? I said, I cannot travel right now because we were given an advisory not to travel until at least 10 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you know it, we got the clearance, and I'm driving in from Gary. We got the clearance. I flew to Proviso West, happened to find a spot right next to the school. I got in, I got upstairs. I did the middle 4 games, and I turned and told my boss, I'm going home. I'm tired.
Right.
But, man, sometimes getting in this industry, sometimes I got to be honest, I question why I got in this industry, but then my love of sport and hearing Jim Durham reminds me of why, and hearing my dad's words of always chase your dream reminds me of why. But to borrow from Chris Bates, God damn you, sometimes I don't know.
Well, you sound like me. I got to a point in my life where the purity of that 6-year-old that was once me in my room listening to radio, that still thrives within me.
Yes.
Unfortunately, people get into radio at the time, terrestrial radio, for other reasons
Mm-hmm.
outside of your own. You may have some like moments or find people that are like minded, but other people got in for other reasons. Once I started
Yeah.
to realize that more than anything else, then I can navigate the room a little bit better.
Yep.
Because I just thought that people love radio, got into radio. No. People got in it for whatever reasons. And we're going to get into it today, of course. There's too much, and that's older than the program. But it's the fact that you run into people who have certain agendas, like any other business, any other profession. So once you see that coming, you're able to navigate probably a little bit better.
We called games at Chicago State for a full season, if that tells y'all anything. And we got to go. Chris Bates joining us as he does every single Friday. And boy, some of the reasons people get into radio, one of these days we're going to get into that. But I love you, brother. Thank you so much for coming on this morning. As always, it's been a thrill and a pleasure.
Thank you. Let me be myself again. And I can people let me be myself around other people, but you do, and I don't take it for granted. Thanks again, my man, and have a fantastic weekend.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chris. Y'all know the Friday show is not complete without the bronze god himself, the legendary Chris Bates, longtime radio host and the host of Baseline, which you can watch every Saturday on YouTube. Good morning, my brother. It's great to have you with us.
Good morning, Rain Man. Of course, good morning to you. Of course, good morning to Cole. Of course, shout out to Wise All and everybody in the comment section there. Good morning, good afternoon, boom shakalaka to you.
Well, I had a little four-legged critter join me. This is my little kitten Winnie, but she's the leader of the pack of the three that we have in the house. I'm gonna have, yeah, and she just won't let go. She just says, "Daddy's here. I'm gonna climb on his lap." All right, you gotta get down, Winnie. Gotta get down, Winnie. Well, all my pets do that. Winnie, Binks, and Pumpkin, all my cats, and of course Lucy. People have seen me with Lucy on air before. Lucy's my little terrier. What you got for us on this Friday?
Well, as we've seen in the news, we've seen on television, social media, stomping the basketball courts, prompted from the Duke Wake Forest game.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember watching the footage over and over again, like most people have. And the one thing that came to mind, Rain Man, was the fact that we're living in strange days.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't want to see people happy. And even though we're way past 9/11, post 9/11, it still doesn't mean there could be terrorist acts.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing came to mind was, what if something else happened besides the storming of the court?
Right.
And you just have evil people out there who want to see the world burn, unfortunately. So it has to be addressed. I completely agree with the coaches come forward, have said that there's something need to be done about that. Need to be more security. Even going back in January with Caden Clark, Iowa's czar, she's out there having a good time. All of a sudden, this random unidentified woman with her cell phone, not even to pay attention to Clark, runs into her at full speed and didn't have the decency to go back to see if she was all right.
Right.
Laying there on the court. So what we're looking at these frenzy situations, which we completely understand as fans, as I said before, there's a crossing the line of being a fanatic. And when these things happen, now it's about everything online. Everybody has a phone, obviously. Everybody wants every 15 minutes or more of fame, and they want to get content out there, so they do that. And then, but at what cost do you do that from? What are costs? Much cost you to put into when everybody is storming the court, where anything can happen? So it's not good for the sport to have this continue on. And it may be once upon a time ago it was, but we're in a different day now. And I'm not to put a spoiler on fun, but there's other ways you can do it. Like one person suggested, when it's the last minutes of the game, let the bench clear from the other team or something like that, and let them go in the locker room and then have everybody come on, whatever. But again, there's a way to do it. And see, what people don't understand, people who are proactive, let's get in front of it before something actually worse happens. But they want to ignore it. And then something tragic happens, God forbid. Then we'll do something. See, that's what I don't like about certain people in certain management positions. if you get ahead of it, we don't have to worry about anything traditional, tragedy happens, or somebody got killed, or somebody body part was blown off because of a bomb, whatever the case. And you have to go there, but this is the days we're living in. So it's not like the sky has fallen, the sky has fell. So let us try to protect our college students, protect the fun of the whole thing, and get some serious security up in there, because if not, something's going to happen, it's going to be major, and then, now we got to do something. Let's prevent that from happening.
Yeah, I saw the incident with Caitlin Clark live after Ohio State beat Iowa in overtime. I did the alternative play-by-play call of that, and one of the things that came to my mind is, what if she had been seriously hurt? Because she's the face of women's college basketball right now, she and Angel Reese. And then, of course, Wake Forest happened, running over the Duke basketball star. You know, the sport where it really scares me, where field storming can happen, is college football. What if one of the stars of college football gets severely hurt? Severely hurt. And like you said, we want to be preventive and not have to take drastic action after someone has been seriously injured or fatally injured. We want to get to that point. We want to get in front of this, like you said, before it gets to that point. And I'm afraid of it getting to that point.
I hope that the powers that be for the NCAA, for example, listen. And I understand that it could be falling on deaf ears, as long as they get the money at the gate, as long as they get their pockets full, as long as they live in secluded areas, and have the the wife and the 2.5 kids and 1.5 dog and a missus on the side piece. As long as nobody's bothering them, then everybody else be damned. That's the sad thing about it when it falls on deaf ears or something like that, because again, you want to protect everybody involved. I'm sure they feel the same way if it was them that was being trampled over on the field or court, or a family member or somebody they didn't know. Then they take it personally. You should take it personally now. Right now. Don't wait. Right now. But see, that's the problem with certain people. And I hope they do something immediately, because again, you said before, March Madness coming up. Right around the corner. And it's right here, as a matter of fact, starting in March. So who's to say that there's some knucklehead out there that wants to make a statement in the name of whoever, and because they saw what they saw on television, they want to outdo that? Because now they can say, because of creating chaos, I could create more chaos within that. It just something needs to be done, just point blank.
It needs to be done. And as you said, March Madness is here. Selection Sunday is a couple weeks from now. It's March 17th. And of course, the goal is the Final Four. And with the crowds being as big as they are at the venues that they are at this year, it's at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, just outside of Phoenix. What if some people storm the court after the national championship in Phoenix? It's supposed to be a time for the players to celebrate, not for, well, the fans can celebrate, but you can celebrate minus the players. You can celebrate in the stands with your friends that are there at State Farm Stadium in Phoenix. It's the second time it's being held in Phoenix, but you got to get in front of this now before some idiot, like you said, storms the court in Phoenix, Arizona. And of course, there are going to be 70,000 people in Phoenix, and they're going to be so excited and say, hey, if they can storm the court, we can storm the court too. You can't storm the court in Phoenix, Arizona. It would be an impossibility to contain.
There's a special that's coming on Hulu, for example. First of all, we shouldn't live in fear.
Right.
But unfortunately, some of us do, and rightfully so. For example, once again, going back to Hulu, Death in the Dorms 2. I didn't know there was a part 1, let alone 2. That's airing on Hulu.
Right.
So mind you, now, combined with all this, and you're living on campus, you're dealing with all these, try to stay alive day to day, and you can't even go out and have a good time, so watching a basketball game, football game, without some knucklehead come out there and doing the most. And so I wonder again with certain college students, what's it like living on a campus these days in the world we're living in now? And once again, you think about your own life, got your studies, got your finals and midterms and everything else. So you're doing your thing as a student should. But at the same time, you cannot ignore the world around you. We've seen, unfortunately, what happened with deaths on college campuses, going back to the Hulu special I just mentioned. And it's there, but at the same time, you don't want it to overtake your life.
Right.
But be aware of your surroundings. So what's more precious? To get the check from the student and their parents or whoever's paying for college tuition, or the safety of the student, him or herself or themselves? Which is more important?
You would think the safety of the students and the state safety of the student body would be more important than getting that check, because what good would getting that check do, and you don't have the safety of the students in mind?
Exactly.
So here's a story I brought up, I talked about earlier in the show. Kevin Garnett said something that I had thought of, and now I feel it's being confirmed. And that's LeBron James on enhancers, on performance enhancers. Because Kevin Garnett said, I played the clip earlier, he's on that new Balco juice. Anyone who is familiar with the case of Barry Bonds knows who and what Balco is. Now, has there been proof? No. But you can tell they're trying to sweep it under the rug as the national media is covering it up with their silence. They're not going to do their due diligence. I can guarantee you they're not going to do their due diligence. Of course, we know the four-letter network's not going to do their due diligence. Neither is Fox or CBS or anybody like that. And this story is going to get swept under the rug, which brings this question to mind, sir. What if some proof is found that he has been taking enhancers, that he has been involved with Balco? Because remember, this case came up once, and within a week, they swept it under the rug.
Well, you can always pay off anybody. You can always pay off anybody to keep a story quiet and pressure people. And a lot's at stake when you go after someone like LeBron James and saying that he's juicing. Once again, you better have your facts, because there's about to be one. Now, if you're fearless, if you believe in the integrity of journalism, you believe in the integrity of putting the truth out there, then you do what you have to do. But I think, again, depending on the person or persons involved, if for example, it goes back to always use movie reference I mentioned before, another reference, same thing. If you're Eddie Murphy in Trading Places and you're with the Dukes and you see the Duke limousine with the whiskey and the cigars and the telephone from the car and everything else, do you walk away forever, as one of the Dukes said, or do you come into the limousine and no, I can hang out with you guys a little bit longer? So it depends on the person, him or herself. Will they walk away and do the story, or would they get in the limousine and get paid?
Well, Hall of Famer Kevin Garnett was the one who said it on his podcast, and he was speaking to Paul Pierce. Now, when Paul Pierce played against LeBron, he played with absolutely no fear. Of course, he was part of that Celtics Renaissance team that won their 17th championship in 2008. So you got a couple former Celtics getting together. Kevin Garnett spits that out. Everything gets swept under the rug. And like you said, are they going to get in the limousine and hang out a little bit longer? That's what most of these networks are doing. They're getting in the limousine and they're hanging out just a little bit longer to make sure their money is safe, instead of doing their due diligence to find out if there's truth to this. If you believe there's truth to it, you got to research it. You have to.
Well, see, again, when you learn from the past, like you go back to say, this is probably, once again, people can Google it, going back to a former president named Richard Nixon and what he went through, the investigation of Watergate tapes, the brilliance of the reporters whose lives were threatened, who stood on the democracy of the truth and what the truth should be about. They stood on they stood on all 10 toes, both of them.
Yep.
And went through what they had to go through. So when you look at that dichotomy and others who have paved the way for freedom of democracy when it comes to the press is concerned, well, as we know, the press has been completely compromised. So it depends on who do you trust and where you get your source from information. So having said that, it would be interesting to see this come out. And once again, despite how I feel about LeBron James, I'm not trying to wish ill on the man, but you know that if you're doing this, that you must understand that you're taking the gamble of not only your life, the life of your family, your wife and your children, the people who are next to you, like, the whole thing, having management and things like that, and your brand and Nike and everybody else. Because if you're doing this, you're destroying everything. And I do mean everything. Because once that tumble of dominoes, come down the pipe, that's it. That's it.
And with LeBron, that's not the first scandal they're hiding. I mean, as I said, this popped up before. I want to say like around 2011, and within a week they swept it under the rug. There's a second scandal that not many people have dug into when it comes to LeBron James. He had a side piece while in Cleveland, and they kicked her out. No, you won't. Sharon Reed. I beg your pardon. Sharon Reed. He had a side piece. Sharon Reed, who was part of the Cleveland media, apparently conceived a love child, and LeBron James is not admitted to it. So what happens? Sharon Reed gets booted out of the Cleveland media, winds up in Miami. A year later, guess who's there?
LeBron James.
Exactly. I think of the line from The Two Jakes. You can follow the action, which gives you good pictures. You can follow your instincts, which most times gets you into trouble. Or you can follow the money, which 9 times out of 10 will get you closer to the truth. And I think there's validity. I'm still researching that and researching this as well. I think there's validity to that claim from Sharon Reed, but no one's ever mentioned it. And if they did, they swept it under the rug real fast. Now you got this coming out, and they're doing damage control on this. The major media markets are doing damage control on this, which makes you wonder, and it's a question you brought up so many times on this program, how much money has changed hands?
Exactly. It's again, when you have an image like LeBron James or other high-profile people, the side piece has always been there since the beginning of time. I'm not condoning it, mind you, but once again, you know what you're getting into. And everybody has free will, obviously. So you have to understand there's a price for everything. You may not think it. There's a price for everything. And free speech is not free. Right. And you have to pay people off. So you keep giving the shush money, you keep them quiet as you go about your merry way. But somebody is going to, look, not everybody can hold water.
Right.
We know that. Somebody going to come forward and say, you know what, money be damned. This truth has to come out. And if you lay in bed with so many people, once again, that's how a lot of people get along. Why? Because it makes strange bedfellows, literally.
Yeah, it does.
Because it's like, if I'm going to out me, I got to out you too. We're laying in the same bed together. That's your drool on the pillow, not mine. Mine's another one. You got drool on the pillow over there. That's why you slobbering like on the side of your cheek there.
Yes.
So when you have these entanglements, I hate to use that word, but you have these entanglements and strange bedfellows come together. Somebody is going to get tired.
Yes.
Somebody's going to say, you know what, I can't take this anymore. And for that reason, I'm out. And then here comes let me tell you my side of the story situation. It always happens. It never fails. It's just a matter of when.
if someone does uncover the truth about this scandal about LeBron James, you want to talk about a house of cards that's going to come tumbling down.
Yeah.
The house of cards is, I don't know how this is going to tumble down, but I can offer a theory. The house of cards is going to start with the 4-letter network.
Yeah,
Because
I
they
can
are
see that.
so committed and invested into, they're not invested in the NBA. Let's be totally truthful. They were invested in the NBA for 1 year. That was the 2002-2003 season, the first year of the contract. And since LeBron James showed up, they've been invested in him, not in the full product of the NBA. They've been invested in him. He's been carrying, if you want to call it that, he's been carrying the NBA for 21 seasons. I've always said he was a fabulous athlete, but his basketball acumen leaves a lot to be desired. And people have bristled on that opinion for many, many years. And now it's just over time, it's been proven. Now you have this to contend with. You have to wonder if ESPN or Fox or anybody like that would dare touch this story. And we already know the answer to that. We already know the answer is no. They're not gonna touch that. They're not gonna dig on that. They're not gonna dig on their cash cow, because he's literally been their cash cow for 20 years. As much money as ESPN has been hemorrhaging, laying off people, trying to get people in that would save the network, Pat McAfee, hello, they are not going to dig on this story, because if they dig on this story and they find some truth to it, you may as well push the plunger and blow it up right now.
And once again, they probably know. They probably know, of course, what he's been doing on the side or anybody else, because to get intel like that, they have investigators and things like that. Investigative reporting, that's where that comes from. So they probably know. But again, to make that move, don't get me wrong, because if they made that move, they still win.
Yes.
Because if they're going to end the relationship, what a way to end it.
Right.
To say that LeBron James had this side piece all these years and it was hush money and everything else. And again, who's going to go to the original source? Whoever's watching. Could be ESPN, could be Fox Sports 1, or could be the other networks as well, because they decided to, you know what, let's sever ties. Let's put journalists in front, our journalistic skills, and go through it. So again, but there's politics everywhere. Politics is always local.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe there's people within the company say, look, I got it right here. Here's information about LeBron James. And somebody says, oh, no, put that away now. Yeah, I know he's, got the side piece, right? He has 2 side pieces and a biscuit. We got that already, but we can't go for it because of how much money he brings to us. So put that away. I know he's doing dirt. Now, I was doing dirt with him, but I can't out him and me at the same time. So once again, you just never know these back room conversations people have.
Right.
So,
right.
To go forward, to push down the wall, and to bring out what's happening with a certain person of a high caliber of LeBron James, it's going to take a lot of stones, a lot of things. But again, people are held back by certain boundaries, and some people probably want to, but they can't.
They want, you just said it. You just said it right there. They want to, but they can't. Their hands are tied. Their hands are really tied when a scandal is sitting right in front of them. They have to watch it, or they have to close their eyes, they have to close their lips, and they have to close their ears to it. Because if they even dip their toe in the water, they're going to find out how much water they're going to wind up taking in, and how fast they're going to sink, because they're digging into something that could be a truthful story, but could cost them their job.
You have to be very, very careful. You tread lightly. You don't want to start anything. But again, if you're dealing with, of course, power and money and privilege, and usually people have power decides who have the privileges, it's a slippery slope, as they always say, and it's a tightrope to walk.
Is it ever?
Again, yeah, because you don't want to ruin your livelihood, your responsibilities. You may have a family and things of that nature. You would definitely be on a target on your back. You start saying things like that. So it is the bravery move. It's very brave when you think about it at the end of the proverbial day for someone to do that, because now you're talking about all types of things coming your way, not just publicity, but internally. Again, you probably get death threats on your end. You probably get death threats towards your family or towards your friends, people like that. It's not easy. We're talking about people who, when you mess with their apple cart, you better be prepared to fight back. And I mean it sincerely. If you're going to do this, give you some security, do what you got to do, change addresses, because there's about to be one.
Oh man, is it ever about to be one? And if someone actually breaks this, oh good Lord, the storm that's going to happen. Remember, they've broken on Barry Bonds and Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa, Rafael Palmeiro, Roger Clemens. That actually went to the Supreme Court. If, and I'm capitalizing the word if this one breaks, my goodness, you want to talk about a flood? This would be it.
It would be.
It would definitely be it. That's Chris Bays joining us as he does every single Friday, representing the Chicago Bears. As I mentioned, throughout this month, we're going to talk about where Justin Fields may go, where he should go, plus everything from the scouting combine. I got a lot of friends that are going to come on and talk about their experience at the combine. But every Friday, you will see and hear this man, Chris Bays, a wonderful, wonderful partner of the show. Thank you very much, my brother. I love you dearly. Thanks for coming on, and I will talk to you next Friday.
Man, have a great weekend. Thank you for having me back. And as always, take care. Make sure you talk the truth and what you do in sports. And if somebody don't like it, go upside the head.
Exactly. Thank you, brother. I love you. There's nothing
brother.
you can do about that. I love you.
Too
man.
late.
It's too late. It's way too late, especially given the fact that I kicked cancer in the ass. I had to do it. For everybody that was praying for me 2 years ago. I appreciate it, and I know you were. I checked in. Look, for God's sakes, I checked in from the hospital while I was recovering. But man, you really have helped the show. I'm glad to have you back. I'm glad to be back myself. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you so very much.
Hey, man, love you more. Keep fighting the good fight.
Thank you, sir.
You got it.
And now, the transporter to Hades, the reformer of hooker whores, and the bronze god, the one, the only, the legendary Chris Bay.
Oh, Lord.
So I had a conversation with an Irvingologist.
Oh, no.
Yeah. In the form of a buy or sell question.
That picture makes me laugh every time I see it. I'm sorry.
Makes me laugh too. Because that's exactly how I asked you to be creative, and that's exactly how an Irvingologist would look.
Yeah.
Smoke everywhere.
That I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, this is perfect.
Smoke everywhere. In the form of a buy or sell question.
Oh my.
This fish-eyed fool had the absolute gall to say buy or sell Kyrie Irving can still be the best point guard in the NBA. I gave a simple answer. Sell.
Now I'm like, which one of those dudes was it? Was it Mortimer? Yeah, I'm like, no, it was Randolph.
Yes.
Sal in the trading places.
Yes. Yes. Let's enter the boom shakalaka with Chris Bays, my brother. How you doing, man?
You gotta tell them to sell.
Get back in there and sell.
Oh, I love that.
Get back in there at once and sell. And the guy just falls out.
Right, love it. Classic movie, man.
Yes, I love Trading Places.
And
Man, fantastic.
3 seconds later, the buzzer sounds and their life is over.
And when you have a cast like that going back to Trading Places, one of those situations where all the stars align right, get the right people, right director, John Landis, Eddie Murphy, Dan Aykroyd anchoring the whole movie. It's a fantastic tour de force. And you watch it over and over again. And what I like about it, again, it's like one of those movies that it gets better and better every time you watch it.
Right.
It does.
It does.
It does. My wife and I watched it, and she said to me, why did it take you so long for us to watch this? Why did it take us so long for us to watch this movie together? I said, we've been busy. We've had other things to take care of first. Yeah. Chris came up with the name for his segment, Enter the Boom Shakalaka, and immediately I went to NBA Jam. I found the soundbite that I needed. I have to turn it into an intro, but perfect. That's all I can say, man. Perfect.
The Boom Shakalaka. Okay, what was the motivation of the name?
Well, the motivation of the name is funny because I do a show called CBI, Chris Space Interviews, every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central. I interviewed a colleague of mine. His name is Perry Williams. And Perry Williams is a fantastic news anchor here out of Chicago, works for iHeartMedia. And then he asked me the question during the interview, because I asked you a question. I said, yeah, when did you become the Boom Shakalaka? Because before I started using the moniker, he used it. He used to work with the late, great Doug Banks. He did news for Doug Banks' local show on WGCI here in Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay. It was Doug Banks that gave him the moniker, the Boom Shakalaka. And I forgot all about it. Maybe I just put it in the subconscious of my head.
Yeah.
I came up with it when I was at WVON, and a guy in the hallway recognized my voice, my days back at WLS-AM doing talk. Oh, man, how you doing? Gave him the bro hug and everything. I used to listen to you overnight, and glad you're over here, man. Hey, man, you the Boom Shakalaka. I said, okay, I'm not to steal that. So I stole it. And then when I used to work for Cool Out Radio, when we had a multi-host program, everybody had their own individual branding or moniker. So Cool Out would go to me, Chris Bass, Boom Shakalaka. And that's how the whole thing started.
Oh, my gosh. Wow.
Oh, that's fabulous. Sig Diggy checking in from Norway. My favorite scene was Dan Aykroyd choking Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
While the latter was doing it was not Dukes. It was not Dukes.
I'm gonna kill you, Valentine.
Even to the point where when Billy Ray Valentine gets Dan Aykroyd's crib and he has the party, kicking everybody out, two dudes seem to sell with. Hey, that was a stone groove, my man.
Yeah, right.
Get the hell out of here. Come on, let's go.
Oh, I can't believe it.
And wait a minute. And to get everybody's attention, he scratched the record that was playing.
Right. Yes.
May I have your attention, please?
Nobody moved.
Attention,
please. And then and everybody get out. Out.
He was right. You invited ne'er-do-wells, hookers to your party, and he's getting all upset, and rightfully so. Who put the cools out on the floor and stuff like that? Doesn't happen. You invite pimps, old Negroes, old Negrettes, and pimps and whores. And it just the whole thing was just ridiculous. But again, like there was an old pimp. I call him old pimp. He had that cowboy hat on.
Yes.
And, the suit and the vest. That's my baby right over there. She's topless. You know what I'm saying? But he was proud of that. Yeah, that's my baby.
That's my baby right over there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Classic. And you can quote lines from like any other movie. It's
like you said, when you can quote lines from when you can quote lines verbatim from a movie that you've seen over and over again, it's a classic. Yes. You and I will have Stand By Me and now Trading Places. And when I did the question, get back to, on all I could see
was Cole's face, I could see their faces. Get back here in there at once and sell.
Well, Lean on Me is another classic. Morgan Freeman owns the role of Joe Clark. One of my favorite,
God!
Once again, because you might miss stuff. One of my favorite scenes now, of course, unfortunately, when he gets arrested. So he gets arrested, and the lady that has the recorder,
that has a recorder, yes.
black ass out. He was like, "Hey, put on this. Sam, get back to your class." Now he didn't say the fact that he called her a bitch. He agreed with that. We'll get back to class. Hey, man, put on this. Sam, get back to your class.
Very few people will catch that.
Not catch that. I did not catch that.
Very few people will catch that.
Oh my gosh!
He just turned around and let Sam get back to class, and that was that.
I watched that. I'm about to out myself. I watched that movie at least once every other month for 3 years solid, and I still did not catch that part.
It's very subtle, like it's very quick, but it goes over your head quick. Like I said before, like you, I watched it and then catch stuff I didn't catch before. Because in the moment you see him get arrested, and that's where you get caught up in.
Right.
It was real quick. Sam, get back to your class. And so most people like, don't call her a bitch. What's wrong with you? He didn't say that.
No.
He agreed with that part.
He agreed with that part, and then just said, Sam, get back to class.
Right. I mean, another line real quick was his assistant principal, vice principal, Mr. Clark, you just threw out the fire department chief. You know what he's saying right now? Black bastard can't throw me out. You know where he's saying it? Out in the parking lot. Classic. That is great stuff.
Oh my gosh. Now I gotta watch Lean on Me now. God,
well, yes, you have to.
Oh my gosh. They used to call me Crazy Joe. Now they call me Batman.
Yes. I remember seeing the real Joe Clark on when Nightline used to come on. Was like 10:35 p.m. Central Time, and he was pretty much saying, "That's not me. I mean, it's me, but you know, I'm pretty much the real deal. I'm more hardcore than the movie version there." But yeah, Joe Clark was really an interesting guy.
Yeah. It might have been the same time I called him because I was thinking the same thing. I think I only seen him once, and he did look like that type of guy where he was like, okay, I could believe a lot of that happened in the movie, but I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I bet you it was even more hardcore in real life.
Oh yeah,
they probably toned down what Joe Clark really was.
Exactly. I think Morgan did a good job capturing what Joe Clark's presence was, but you know, it's subject to interpretation, as we all know. And the great thing about that was, I mean, the scenes between him and Robert Guillaume.
Oh, those are my favorite scenes.
Yes.
Those are my favorite scenes in the movie because, I was not really all that familiar with Morgan Freeman as an actor. I mean, I knew a little bit about him before then.
Yeah.
But I did not know he had that type of range. And of course, I was a huge Benson fan.
Right.
So I was seeing these two greats in the same scene at the same time. I was thinking, well, how will this work? And it was like magic. It was like seeing two brothers just going at it and enjoying themselves. Like before the director said action, they're like, yeah, let's just show off. Let's just show off and show out. Exactly. And then when they said cut, I could just picture the two of them just arm in arm with each other, just laughing their butts off.
Well, that goes back to experience. I mean, when I researched both men, I mean, I remember watching Morgan Freeman as a kid on Electric Company.
Right.
On PBS.
Yes.
I do too. Yes. Right. I do too.
That's my first introduction to him. Right. Then years later, I see him in Street Smarts, I believe, with Christopher Reeve. And then, going his background, Morgan Freeman, just like his counterpart, Robert Guillaume, both did Broadway. They both did Broadway as stage actors and stage musicians and stage performers. Robert Guillaume was the lead for a play called Pearly Victorious. And then it was a musical. He was the lead for that. That also starred Melba Moore and Sherman Hemsley. That's how Sherman Hemsley was discovered to do George Jefferson, to do the Jeffersons. By doing that play. And then prior to that, Morgan Freeman had worked on Broadway. He did like a whole black version of a play called Hello, Dolly.
Yes.
I remember.
He was a part of that too.
Okay.
So all this range, all that range came out, that experience came out. Those scenes, those two together, man, that should be like a masterclass. I'm a fan.
Yes.
Of film.
100.
But when they were in, but the battle they had back and forth when they're going back and forth about the courtroom and that's. I love
that was something else.
Yeah. I saw that scene. I saw that scene 6 months ago.
Okay.
And when I finished it, I had to watch it, and I caught myself watching it and realizing it was like 20 minutes that went by. And I'm like, dang, I watched this thing about 4 or 5 times.
Oh, yeah.
It was just beautiful how they interplayed with each other. It was it was perfect.
That's what brothers do. That's what family do. They go back and forth and call you all types of mother hubbards, and then afterwards, let's go eat.
I just love that.
It's true.
It was just beautiful.
It's true.
You think you bad now, don't you? I love that.
Get used to it the way of the world. It was like you. Like, damn it! Start buying something mine. Contrary to popular belief, I'm the head Negro in charge. He didn't use Negro, but yeah, right. Man,
yes,
classic. Jerk that briefcase. You were kowtow. You were step
and fetch it.
If I have to if I got to pull a line from Stand By Me, or one of my favorite lines, because Chris kept saying it every time before we went on air to put us in a good mood. Chris would walk into the studio, and I'd turn my head and I'd grab my face like this, and like, I know he's gonna say something stupid, and I'm gonna start laughing. And all of a sudden, Chris just leans over and go, "They used to call me Crazy Joe, but now they call me Buttman." I fell out.
Oh Lord, it's like a big bird. It's like a big bird. They're taking all the hits.
He's like a big bird radar. I'm tired of getting hit.
I'm tired of getting hit. Oh my gosh! And the courtroom scene alone, I could just
yes. Your personal battles are going to cost us the war. I mean, just the energy alone between those two men were just
yes.
Absolutely again, just great experience.
Yeah,
you can't fake that.
No.
You can't fake that kind of brotherhood.
Oh, real quick, Rain Man. I call you Rain Man. I call you Snow. I call you
yes.
Rain Man. Now, how long is my segment? Do I have like a half hour or 15 minutes, or I want to bring into something else I want to talk about?
Keep going.
Okay, thank you.
I'll let you know when we're about to wrap up here, but keep going.
It would be a crime if you had your phone 15
Keep going.
Okay, great. Okay, so a couple things on my mind. I want to give a shout out to Shaheen Holloway, who is now currently the new Seton Hall coach, as we saw what he did with his team.
St. Peter's, yes.
That's what I love about March Madness. The coaches and universities and colleges don't get enough shine, and they get the shine that they do when they come into March Madness and the Final Four. And for him to go back to his alma mater,
right?
I think it's one. So big ups to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also, the transfer portal that's going on. I know it's mixed reviews. I know people say, well, they shouldn't do it. I think they should, and this is why. So years ago, I would get this magazine out of Wisconsin called East Bay. So East Bay is a sporting goods.
I remember East Bay.
Right.
I remember East Bay.
I would give my sneakers. I'm a sneakerhead. Got all my sneakers there because for some reason I go around Chicago, Foot Locker, anywhere else. Hey man,
can't find them.
Hey, you guys, this is a size 13. I'll go back and check. Come back, nope.
Come back, no.
And I got
no one good and well. They did. No one good and well. They didn't have 13s. No one good and well. They didn't carry 13s.
I talked to other guys. They would just get it earlier because they went on delivery day.
Mm-hmm.
Delivery day was Wednesday. Only have like maybe 7 size 13s and whatever shoe model they got, and then he went on and got that. And then my lazy butt would get up at the crack of dawn, and I'm Cal Cracula, and I try to get there on a Saturday, Sunday, and it's not there anymore. So I'm like, okay, I got to change my game. So that's when I started East Bay. I get my shoes from there. Then I was looking through the magazine at the time, and they had NBA jerseys. I'm checking them out. To the other page, it's college jerseys that you could pay for with certain people's name on the back. That was football and basketball. I'm like, okay, that's interesting to sell college jerseys. So obviously the students ain't getting a dime from it at all.
Right.
So the colleges have made this into a business.
Yeah.
pay them. Not, I'm talking about you can't give them $1 million salary or something like that. You can give them a stipend because all college are broke. I mean, when you're in college, Ramadan or ramen noodles, wherever you eat or something like that, or White Castles or something like that, yeah, because it's cheap.
Ramadan noodles.
Yes, Ramadan noodles.
That's right.
You know better, Chris. You know
Ramadan noodles.
It's too late.
You
they know what the noodles they're eating. You're getting chicken flavor, beef flavor,
right?
Beef flavor.
Ramadan
noodles. Right.
See, we got to keep that. We got to keep that and invoke that into the intro. The Ramadan.
Whenever someone from the Islam faith goes into that holy season, I'm going to think of noodles now, thanks to you.
You're welcome.
And I know it was on purpose. That's what makes it even funnier and
I don't
more
want
angry.
I don't want to offend the Ramadan community. I don't want to offend anybody.
Right.
Well, even the Ramadan noodle community. I'm not trying to offend anybody. So my point is, it's cheap food to get, and we're all involved to that. Whether it's whatever I said before, White Castle, Ramadan noodles, or whatever. Give the students a stipend. If you want to make education, have them take like a business class.
Yeah,
to learn about your
I agree with that.
CDs and 401k plans and stuff like that. That way, it'd be more educational. But now that they can make money off their likenesses, good on them. Good for them. Not everybody's going to go pro. Not everybody's going to go overseas to make money. If you're in that time zone, for whatever time you're in college, to make a profit from your time performing as a student athlete, I say go right ahead.
I agree with that. I agree with that because the NCAA, like you said, has turned it into a business, and they've been making money off their names
hand over fist.
As long as I remember. Anybody remember the Carolina team from '82 or the Georgetown team from '82?
Yeah.
I mean, how else can you be able to put 60,000 people in the Superdome?
Yeah.
Even though the ticket prices weren't as absorbent as they are now, and this weekend the men's Final Four is in the Superdome.
Superdome again, yeah.
But they deserve more than their share. Okay, pay them their share. No, I don't. Pay them what they need. Okay, pay them what they need. That's the side I've always been on, because you're making hand over fist. Billions of dollars, not millions, billions of dollars a year from their likenesses. You mean to tell me they can't get a piece of that? A big piece of that? So they can stop eating the White Castles and the Ramadan noodles and everything else? And believe me, when I went away to college in 1990, for a while I lived on ramen noodles. I did.
Yeah. It's what's right.
It is.
I understand about
it really is.
These people who are in charge of these universities, and then once again, what Cole just said, making money hand over fist. If you gave a stipend or some money to your college athletes, you're not going to miss anything.
You're really not.
That's how much of a dent you won't even put into it. There will be no dent whatsoever. Set up a certain pipeline, certain revenue stream for them. And you won't miss it because you're making millions, probably into the billions, depending on what kind of university you are.
And don't get me started on the don't get me started on the SEC and the money that they make, no matter what the sport.
They have their own island. I mean, they have their own network via ESPN on cable. So come on, man.
Right.
I mean, have you seen? Let's really go there. Have you seen the baseball stadiums in the SEC? I mean, you would think you were in minor league ballparks.
Exactly.
You would think they were in minor league ballparks, and every year it seems like they're doing some kind of renovation or they're building a new park. Example, LSU. They tore down in 2009 the old Alex Box Stadium. They put up the new one, which is bigger and better. I had a chance to get a tour of it. And every ballpark in the SEC is like that. Every ballpark in the SEC is like that. And you go, what?
You can tell that there is a premium that the conference places on athletics.
Yes.
That you can see the financial wherewithal and the windfall from it. And this must be a credo that they have. It's like, okay, we want in the SEC for sure. We want to have the best facilities, period. We want to basically clown every other conference, no matter if it's this level or the levels below, because we want them to see that this is going to be for these athletes that come to our programs, the springboard for them to go to the pros. You know, like what Bay said earlier, even if they know most of them will not make it to the pros.
Mm-hmm. SEC, ACC, University of Texas, and Pac-12 all have their own networks. It's crazy to see how much these conferences have grown, but the athletes see little outside of their scholarship. Very true point, Ryan. Very true point.
Oh, and the NCAA is a non-profit business.
Oh, they're
Since when?
Oh, that's a flying lie.
We know that's a flying lie.
Yes,
we see the evidence.
Well, it's one
we
of those
see
things.
we see the evidence. Look at the renovation to the arenas, like Assembly Hall in Champaign, which is now called State Farm Arena for some god awful reason. But also, look at the arenas they build. Anybody remember when the SEC was burgeoning in the 90s? Anybody remember when Bud Walton Arena showed up in Fayetteville, Arkansas? When Bud Walton Arena showed up to replace Barnhill Arena,
I missed that.
And everybody's like, "Wait a minute! When did their attendance go from 9,000 to 20,000 per game?"
And it was all to compete with Kentucky, who at Rupp Arena they could see 22,000.
It was every SEC team wants to compete with
in basketball
Rupp Arena, which is the biggest arena in the SEC. Thompson Bowling Arena is now at 22,000.
Yeah, but they probably reached the 22,000 themselves there. Yeah,
but it's like it's what Bay said, and it's what you said, Cole. They're making the SEC alone is making money hand over fist that can cover all the bills with the NCAA. SEC alone can bring that in and still have chunks and chunks and chunks of money remaining to pay the kids.
Yeah,
you can do that.
What we've seen over, I'm sorry, what we've seen over the years is like when I was in college in the Stone Age, and I was taking a class called Radio Sales, and my instructor was named Sid. We called him Sid Vicious. Sid was like all of 5 feet tall. He had 2 strands of hair that went from here over to here. Had a fly-by-night collar. His belt went up damn near to his chest, and he hiked it up there. But that's why the man looked like that. He dressed from 1950.
Really, we're so rough with this base.
But no, he would tell you if he. I don't know if he's still alive. You know, God rest his soul if he passed away. But what he did for us in radio sales was he showed us that radio was a business. I never forget, ladies and gentlemen. He was very, articulate, very, strong forward. He wrote on the board show business, big show, and little business in little letters.
Smart.
Yes. Then he reversed it. It was little show and big business written out. So when you, as my man said from Boomerang, reversed it, when you reversed it and you saw it from the business angle from what it was, it got you a whole different mindset. So first and foremost, we have seen over the years, especially with the boom of the internet, with the boom of power brokers and backers and people like that and boosters with these colleges, is first, foremost, and always will be a business.
Yeah.
100.
There'll always be a business first before anything else.
That's right.
And it's amazing that the NCAA, even now, 2022, they still want to paint this picture that they are the paragons of amateur athletics.
They are the wholesome amateur athletics. No, they're not.
And the fact that they so literally pillage these men and women, athletes, to where they have the audacity to have out of their mouths say, it is not the name on the back of the jersey that matters. It's the name on the front
of the jersey, which is some bull crap.
Well, a prime example is that with the Fab Five.
Yes.
Right.
All let's go a couple years before the running reps from 1990.
UNLV, yeah.
UNLV, correct.
The running reps were the running rep. Hell, Jerry Tarkanian alone was a brand in and of itself.
Hell,
because he gave these kids a chance.
Biting on was branding.
Right.
He would bite the hell out of that towel, man. I'm like,
yeah, he would.
Yep. Oh Lord.
I mean, he was. I mean, I will watch. I mean, it got to the point where I love Jerry Tarkanian.
I do
He was
too.
a fantastic coach. Even went to
Yeah.
Fresno State, he was still a fantastic coach. The
Mhm.
dude was up there, got that towel going. I feel sorry for the towel.
Same.
I feel sorry for the towel
Because they would soak the day. They would soak the daylights out of that towel.
Man,
They would
if
soak
he-
the daylights out of that towel.
If he lost all of his teeth and still was gumming that towel,
Oh Lord.
you can make a you can look. You could have branded the towel. The towels. Have a company name behind it. He could just sit there and bite it, and then do a video like "We be gumming." We gumming.
Oh gosh.
Right. I mean, Jerry Tarkanian, that dude, man.
Man, Jerry Tarkanian, coaches like Mike Krzyzewski, Jerry Tarkanian, Dean Smith, Roy Williams were a brand all to themselves.
Yes.
They were a brand all to themselves. You can throw Raleigh Massimino in the program. John Thompson. Okay,
right.
because Raleigh Massimino took down the big bad Georgetown Hoyas in 1985
We be gumming.
at Rupp Arena. We be gumming. Yep.
I'm like, Chris Bass actually said we be gumming.
That's right.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you know that's gonna Cole. You know that's gonna stick. You know.
Yep. Go back to Ice Cube. We be clubbing. We be gumming.
That's why I am not liking you again right now, because you could give me that earworm. That's exactly what I was thinking. It's like, now I'm going to have to listen to We Be Clubbing.
We
now.
be clubbing. Instead of we be clubbing, we be gumming. All right, we got to get out of here. But Chris Bass, thank you so very much, my man. Thank you. I love you. Thank you so much. Much appreciated.
Man. Thank you, bro.
And real quick, much love to the both of you. Snowman,
yes.
Rayman, you got this. Take care. You're my thoughts and prayers. You're going to take care of business.
Thank you. We're leaving for Indy on Saturday. Thank you, Bass. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you, brother.
Take care. Peace. Both of you.
Both of you.
Man,
To everybody who tuned in, hope you love this special. And the return of the Boom Shakalaka in his honor begins a week from Friday. See y'all tomorrow.